Hey guys, happy Thursday and welcome to the next edition of Carrots and Cake Instagram Live. And I am in the coolest room in my house and I'm already sweating. So this edition might be short and sweet because it's so hot. I actually brought my little tripod out and my water and my notes and everything, brought it outside thinking maybe it would be a little bit cooler and breezier out on my back deck, but it is not. It is 1,000,000 degrees here. So might whiz through this today. But I asked on Instagram stories for your questions, which was super helpful, having you guys just send your questions for the week that way. I do gather them throughout the week and I, put them on a running list, but it was nice to do it that way, the answer the question little thing that they have in stories. So thank you to those of you who submitted a question. And I have 5 questions that we're going to tackle today. So some of them are just short and sweet, so figured I'd add an extra one today. So the first one is, how do you get Quinn to nap? So I can talk about that. He's 4, so I mean, the fact that he's still napping, I think is not totally normal, but not unnormal, so I'll talk about that. Did you go to CrossFit regularly after Quinn was born? If so, how? So I'll talk about that. My favorite podcasts, I get that question a ton. An update on deodorant, and I will give you an update on the deodorant situation. And what is something you'd tell your 26-year-old self asking for a friend, which I love that she added asking for a friend in at the end. So I will give some sort of advice there. So the first question is about how do we get Quinn to nap? And you know what? Yeah, he's 4 and he's still napping. He goes to school 3 days a week and they have a nap time, quiet time there. So he's already kind of in the routine of doing that. And when he's home with us on Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, he'll typically nap. We're kind of getting to that point now. It's like 3 out of the 4 days that he's home with us, he will nap, but one of those days he's just not tired, or he takes like a super short nap and he's like, good, it's like a little cat nap. So honestly, I think it's just the routine of it, and we kind of got lucky there. I mean, he wakes up at the crack of dawn every morning, so I don't know, he probably just needs a nap at that point in the day. So I don't know. I don't really have any tips on it. I think we just got lucky and different kids are different. I mean, I know, my sister has a 2.5-year-old and she doesn't really nap anymore. So it kind of just depends on the kid. And now that we're getting to that age where it's like some days he naps, some days he doesn't nap, we might start doing like a quiet time or a reading time or something like that together. And again, I think that's just kind of like part of the routine and just like making it stick. So he knows after lunch he's going up to his bed and he's gonna at least lay down, hopefully nap, and that's just like part of the routine. And like I said, I guess we kind of got lucky with that nap thing that he's still 4 and still napping, so we're gonna ride it out as long as we can. But like I said, he wakes up so early in the morning, I think he just kind of needs a nap. And then he goes to bed 7:30, 8, sometimes 8:30 now that it's summer, but I mean, he goes right down to bed. So just depends on the kid, I think. The next question, actually I have 6 questions. Sorry, I just saw another one that I wrote down. Did you go to CrossFit regularly after Quinn was born? If so, how? And so we actually didn't. We stopped going to CrossFit when he was first born and we just couldn't make it work. I mean, we had a baby at home. We were kind of working out at home, doing our own workouts. And then I got offered a bib to run the Boston Marathon, and I'm a lunatic and I said yes. And so I wasn't really doing the CrossFit thing. I was more running, doing a little bit of CrossFit, but we were definitely relying on childcare at the gym. And then we ended up moving when Quinn was about a year and we were far from our old CrossFit, and we joined a new CrossFit that had childcare. So I think if we didn't have childcare at the gym, we probably wouldn't be CrossFitting on the regular. So I'm not sure if that's an option for you to switch to a CrossFit that has childcare. And I know there are some that like different parents will watch the kids on different days, and if you could coordinate that and your gym owner is cool with that, I think that would be awesome. And then the other option is getting up at the butt crack of dawn and doing like the 5 or 5:15 class. I was doing that when my schedule was insane. It was just kind of the only way I could fit it in. But so we stopped for a while, we joined again, but it was only because the gym had childcare, because I really don't think we could have done it. I mean, at one point Mal and I were doing like a kid trade-off where he'd go to the 4:30 class. I'd show up there at 5:30 with Quinn and we'd just switch real quick. So we did that a few times, but that just kind of made for like a hectic night, and then I wasn't home till late and Quinn was going to bed late, eating dinner late, and I don't know. So it could work. I mean, I know there are families that do that and it works for them, but just throwing some ideas out there. Favorite podcasts, and I will link to these in my blog post when I put this video up. But I have a ton, I really do, but I'll just name some of my top ones that I listen to every week. I'm like literally sweating in here right now. So Girls Gone WOD podcast, it is a CrossFit-esque podcast, but it is not all about CrossFit, and it's hilarious. They talk about everything: food, fitness, lifestyle, pop culture, tacos. Like, they are just so fun. And that's the one I do not miss every week because it just makes me happy. And the girls are just hilarious. Meathead Hippie with Emily Schrum. She's really good. She talks about a lot of my favorite topics, you know, hippie stuff and working out and wellness and mindset and all that stuff. So I like her. Gold Digger by Jenna Kutcher, and it's a business-focused podcast, and she's very cool, down to earth too. Food Blogger Pro with Bjork Osterman. He is Lindsay Osterman's husband, and they have Pinch a Yum as their blog, but Bjork does, I think, more of the business and the podcast. But it's so good. I mean, just great food blogger advice, but just great like business and influencer advice. It's hot in here. And then the Trillis podcast, which I just discovered. The girls reached out to me about being on an episode, so it'll air in September. But super fan now. They talk about CrossFit, Orange Theory, running, food, fitness, babies, all that stuff. So I'm a big fan of that one. All my favorite subjects. So I'm new to it, but I really like it. Healthy Moms podcast, all sorts of health topics, and I'm blanking out on her name. Katie, I think her name's Katie. Super smart, and she just has really great guests and such a good perspective on it. The Paleo OMG podcast, she's just hilarious and real, and we like a lot of the same things. Pursuing Health with Julie Fouché. She's a CrossFit girl. She has really, and a doctor, but she has good health topics and CrossFit and fitness topics. Chasing Excellence with Ben Bergeron, another CrossFit-y type of workout, but he touches all sorts of fitness and health. And parenting last week, I don't know about that podcast, but I should stick with CrossFit. And then the Goop podcast by Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't know how I feel about her on the everyday, but I like a lot of the guests she has there on it and a lot of the topics. And the Paleo Solution by Rob Wolf. Again, awesome guests, and just gets into some really like sciencey stuff. And then just a question, have you done Orange Theory Fitness? Yes, I have, quite a bit, and I do love it, but the location is not close to my house. There's also not childcare, so if I can get there, I'll go, but it just kind of depends on my schedule, because it's a good like 20 to 30 minutes there, take the class, 20, 30 minutes home, so just a good chunk out of my day. But I really do love it. It's an awesome workout. It's really hard and challenging, and the people that own the one closest to my house are super nice, and I really like them. I got a question about why are my eyelids glittering, and that's because I put a filter on to cover up some of the sweat. So other questions. Whew, I'm so hot. Deodorant update, which is very pertinent right now. So the last we talked, I had tried the Primarily Pure charcoal deodorant, and I loved it, but I was upset that it was so expensive. It's like $22, and then there's shipping and all this stuff, and I was just like, I love it, but it's so expensive. So I was looking for cheaper options. So I tried Schmidt's, and then I feel like I tried another one called Crystal Essence or something like that. And both cheaper options. I mean, you can get them both at Target, but I mean, they just didn't work. And I don't know, I just felt like the stuff was like all over my armpits and my clothes, and then I'd be sweaty and I'd be applying it again. So I don't know, I just, for the money, it was good. I'm glad I tried it, but I am back to the Primarily Pure stuff, and I paid $22 for another stick of deodorant, and they actually were out of stock for a while, so I'm getting it any day now. I'm like waiting patiently for it and using my Schmidt's. That doesn't really work. But on the website, if you sign up for like a subscription where you can get it like every month or every other month, I mean, I think mine lasts maybe 2 months, I think it lasted. You don't have to pay for shipping, so I'm like, great. So right now I'm using that. I really like it a lot. Deodorant prevents sweating or just the odor? Both. I mean, I love the Primarily Pure one. The Schmidt's one, I don't know. I mean, I was still sweating a ton. I guess the odor was helped a little bit. I wasn't so stinky. But I don't know. I just felt like it was everywhere. It was like messy. It was on my clothes and I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. And the Crystal Essence one was like fine, but I feel like I was putting it on before CrossFit, putting it on after CrossFit, like coming home, taking a shower, putting it on again, mid-afternoon, putting it on again. I just felt like I always needed it. It just like didn't stay on, or I don't know, wasn't really working. I was just kind of always sticky. I don't know. So that's the update on that. And then, what is something you tell your 26-year-old self? And I love this question. I love like thinking back to that point in my life. And honestly, I would tell my 26-year-old self that nothing matters more than your health. And I think I was going all out, 100 miles a minute, just like stressing myself out with, you know, fitness, like running 1,000,000 miles, working out every day, like work, just like going all out, being so stressed out, taking on so much, saying yes to everything, going out with my friends, drinking, like whatever it was. And I just think I put a lot of stress on my body back then. And I don't even know how I was able to function at that level. So I think if I was 26 again, I would just kind of take it down a notch, take care of myself, probably eat a little bit better, drink a little bit less, you know, sleep more, not stress out as much. And looking back at 31, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis out of the blue, being, you know, healthy prior to that. And I know, you know, people with autoimmune diseases, you're not supposed to blame it on yourself or anything that happened to you. But for me, I really think it was environmental. It was just being so stressed out, probably not eating the best, probably drinking too much, like all that. And like I said, it came out of the blue. So I just would have taken better care of myself at 26. Now I'm 38, and I feel like I take really good care of myself now. So I've come a long way. And then the last question that I thought was a great one is, do you always hit your macros numbers exactly? And I never ever do. I don't think I ever have. But I think that's the magic of macros, is that you can come close or be in a range and still have it work. And that's a big thing that I teach my clients. Mel's home, if you guys want to say hi. There he is. It looks like he just went for a run. It's a little hot out there, right? Mm-hmm. It's like super hot. But what I was saying is, that's the magic of macros. You don't have to be exact on the dot all the time for it to work. And even if you're within a range, I just think it gives you that like freedom to enjoy your life, but eat within some boundaries. I always say it's like bumper bowling. It just kind of keeps you in that like range of being healthy and like balancing your choices. Because I mean, we all know we could just eat a bunch of carbs and, you know, call it a day, and it's like a certain amount of calories, or you can balance those calories and feel really satisfied and have those calories work for you and fuel your body, help you recover, boost your mood. There's like a million things that happen, you know, if you eat right and treat your body right. So just want to say, I never hit my macros. I mean, I don't even think I have once. Like really, I'd say I'm probably within, you know, 5 to 10 grams. But I mean, there's even some days that I'm like way over on fat because I ate like a ton of nut butter, and way under on something else, and it like evens out. And every day it's a new day. So I mean, if I don't hit them today, maybe tomorrow I'll come close. I don't know. So just wanted to answer that one because I do get that question a lot, and I hate it when people get like wrapped up in the numbers, and I'm like, yeah, they're important, but they're not the end all be all. And macros can work, and I really do think it's like a really good way to live life and eat healthy and enjoy your cake and your wine and all that good stuff. So that's my little soapbox speech about macros. But of course, if you want to work with me, reach out. Would love to hear from you. And that is it. I am sweating so bad. At least it's not coming through on my shirt, but it is just dripping down the front of me. So I'm probably gonna go take a shower after this, so sweaty. But thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys for the next edition, and keep the questions coming.